Alright there, BrewTube. Well, this is my first venture into home brewing and YouTubing. I've been watching a lot of videos and brewing for a couple of years now, or at least a year and a half, 2 years. But the videos have really got me, and obviously have been really important to how well I've done, or how well my beers are going. So I thought I'd have a shout and let's see what happens, and see if I can entice other people who are thinking about getting into homebrew to do the same thing as it happened with me. The people who have influenced me, so this is no particular order, people who have influenced me, so got Homebrew Chris, Dudes Brew, New to Homebrew Tom, Red Dog Brewer and Hapless Ginger Brew. All those guys have just, you guys have really made it a really good journey. It's something to you know, there's a lot of learning experience that you guys have got and passing on through your videos, so I appreciate all your time that you put into it. So this is just literally done off my phone, and there's no gorilla grips anywhere, and I haven't got multi-camera mode, and I'm not as pro as all of you lot, but it should be a bit of fun. So I'll just show you around what we're doing. What I've got, the kit in the garage, and it's literally a garage, and then from there I'll tell you what I'm brewing today. So it's a 3-tier gravity system. I don't have a grain father, I don't have any of that. This is literally me and my mate Tim. We put together all this stuff, bought it second hand, odds and ends, Spock, eBay, and from there we put it all together, and we've come up with some a decent bit of kit that produces some decent beer. So so this is what I've got. So we've got a Burco. Oh, hold on, let me turn it around. Hold on, what the fudge? So I've got a Burco 20 litre tea-urn, which just heats up it's the HLT. Then I've got my mash tun, which is the cool box. As you see, it's insulated for the winter. 45 litres, does really well. Over here, 50 litre kettle. A boiler, which then with a copper immersion chiller, sorry. My own sparge arm that I made, fly sparge, and then inside I've made them inside the mash tun. I made the manifold for sparging, for grain, oh, what the fudge is it called? Grain, you know, filtration. So I'll pull that out later on, and I'll show you what it's about. It's and then obviously it all works on propane. Got a big old gas ring over there, and I'll take that out later on. But as you can see, it is nothing more than a garage. And my wife, bless her, does very well with keeping her anger inside, and not being in, and not let and giving me the opportunity to do this. Fermentation fridge, and as you can see, maybe that's a clue as what I'm doing this afternoon. I'm going to do a Voss kviek smash. The opportunity to, thanks to Thomas from the UK home brewing community for sending it. I've got the opportunity to try it and put it together. Cascade smash, maybe a bit of oats as well, so it's not a real smash. But Marisota and 150 grams of Cascade, and the idea is to put this thing together and have it from grain to glass in 10 days. So I need that temperature, I need that fridge to get to 40 degrees for this to work. I've done other kvieks. I've done Hollandau, which was at 35, and we made a starter for, rather than just pitching the amount that we had, so we made a starter, so it didn't actually give the tropical tangerine flavors that it's supposed to do, but we really enjoyed it. It was still pretty quick. And then I had done another kviek that was given to me by kindly by one of the gents at our homebrew club, Water Into Beer Homebrew Club, South East London. And that was my first venture into it. Again, enjoyable. 25 degrees that we fermented this at, but I think this is a test to see if my fridge will actually get to 40 degrees without blowing the thing to sky high or melting my garage. But yeah, it should be fun. Well, I'm going to go and get some ingredients, and then we'll get mashing up. All right, speak to you soon. Well, 6 kilos of Marisotta and 200 grams of oats. Take the reading. Reading needs to be, go on, get there, 64. I want it 64.65. So 65 degrees it's at now. I'm going to let it sit for an hour and fill up the hot water for the sparge. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else at the moment. All right, back in an hour. All right, so the mash is on. We've got about 45 minutes and I've managed to get some food in because I'm bloody hungry. So just to clarify, it's 6 kilos of Marisotta, 200 grams of oats, and I've just used porridge oats. I don't use flaked oats, so this, that, the other, I just use literally Quaker's oats. If they're good to go in my stomach, they're good to go in my beer. Also, water chemistry. I don't do water chemistry. Again, if the water's good enough for me to drink out of the tap, and it's good enough for me to go in the beer. Yes, it does impede certain styles, and I've never tried deepers. I've never tried making any other of these big hazy beers. I mean, I make pale ales, I make IPAs, stouts, porters, saisons, and I've done sours, kettle sours. They all use the same water, and it's just something that at the moment I can't be asked to get into. I really don't think it's something that I will envisage doing down the line, but I'd love to nail getting the beers made and consistently, temperatures, volumes, OGs, SGs, FGs. So this is done. So we've got another 3/4 of an hour on this, and then we'll go and I'll show you quickly do the sparging. I'll show you how I do the Vorloff, again taught to me by Tim Quinlan, who is my brewing partner in crime. Although he's moved, he's still here in spirit, and he will be brewing again. He'll be making a visit onto the screen, as also most probably, if I can entice some other members of the Water into Beer homebrew club, as we do collaborations and we get other people involved. It's, as I said, this isn't about making. It's just making beer and making it how easy it is to make good quality beer from your own premises for own consumption. I mean, people, the Water into Beer team, Tim and Helen and Kat and Will and Luke and Dan and all the Dans, because there's about 1 million of them there. They've all, everyone has played a part in helping me, regardless if they know it or not, in helping me produce and enjoy the production of beer. So enough of the waffling. I'm going to stop, go and grab a coffee, and then we'll get ready to do the sparge. Right, hour's up. So now we're going to do some Vorloffing and sparging. Not bad. Temperature only dropped literally. Well, there seems to be hot pockets and cold pockets. So we've dropped a degree, 1.5 degrees. Well, considering that most of the mashing, most of the starches and proteins are taken out in the first half an hour, because these grains are so well modified now for brewing. It should be all right. Right, so we've done the Vorloff, which is basically I put tinfoil over the top, puncture it, and use it as a filter by doing the first run-ins and then pouring it back in, so basically creating the grain bed. So this is the first runnings that are going through now, and then once that's drained, I'm going to sparge it, or fly sparge it, with 75-degree water, and then we'll hopefully get 30 litres that end up going into the boil. 6 litre boil off rate per hour ends up with 24 litres, give or take, and that will be going into the fermenter. But then I'll cool it down to 40 degrees because this Voss kviek likes the high temperatures, and then into the fridge, into the fermentation fridge, which is getting there at it's at 30 degrees now, so it's got another 10 degrees to rise to. Hopefully that'll be done just in time for fermentation. Alright, what have we got? I can't, it's all wobbling all over the place. I'll tell you what, if they just take a sample. It looks like 140. Yeah, I'm going to go with 140 as a very rough guess. Which is, oh, blimey. Oh, sorry. And so quickly, while we've got the boil on, I've got 51.5 grams of Cascade. So 60 minutes, 20 minutes, and then 5. The reason why these aren't in a hop sock is simply because only in there for 5 minutes, then the cool down. It's easier for them to be free flowing and get as many oils out of that as possible. These two have got plenty of time to be sitting around and doing their tea bag thing. Hot Break Hotel. There we go. That's what you should call your shop. Hot Break Hotel. So that's the hour timer set and 60-minute edition of 51.5 grams of Cascade. Let's put the lid on the top just like that, and then I will quickly just show you the manifold that I made for the bottom of the mash tun. So this is the manifold that I made. I'll put the link in the description box below. I got it off the internet. It's based on the Igloo 45 litre mash tun box, so it does really well. Axe grinded the slots in, and I'm really super proud of it. It's a great filter. I haven't had any blockages, touch wood, so onwards and upwards. So we finally finished the boil and we're just on the cool down. So the chiller's in. We had 51 grams of Cascade at 60 minutes, 51 grams of Cascade at 20 minutes, and then 51 grams of Cascade at 5 minutes. Chiller's in, cooling it down. We need to get it to 40 degrees. 40 degrees because that's when this Voss yeast works best. So maybe I'll put it in at a little bit higher, maybe 45 degrees, get it into the bucket, and then we'll stick it in the fridge. The fridge is nearly at 35 degrees, so yeah, it's going well. Looking good. Promising and nothing's on fire. Give the Norwegian holler, and then we'll stick it in its bed for hopefully 2 hours time. Maybe in a couple of hours time we'll start seeing it bubble away. Let's see if it produces the goods. 10 days from grain to bottle. Well, it's been a great brew day again. My brother came over halfway through, so he's been helping me with it. He's got a science background, so his input is always important to me. It's I don't just wipe the lens. It seems to be a bit foggy in here. Oh yeah, his background is microbiology, so yeah, it's great to have him involved, and he's nothing but kudos to his ideas. So there might be something new in the pipeline. I don't know. We've talked about continuous movement through mashing, and yeah, there's a lot of ideas that we've been talking about, and we've had a few beers, so that's been enjoyable. A lot of homebrew, Kolsch. We've had a Kolsch, we've had a Belgian blonde, and we've finished off with my peanut butter and jelly imperial at 10%, and it's bingo. To show you what's happening with the fermentation fridge, the beer is in there. It's doing its job. We've got 21 litres at 105.2. I was aiming for 105 1059. No, I got I got 1054, sorry, and I was aiming for 1059. So 5 points, 105, yeah, 5 points off. We're looking at a 6% pale smash. Ingredients again: 6k of pale malt Marisota, 200k of oats, 20 kilograms of oats. Sorry, 200. Yeah, 200 grams. For the fuck, 200. 6 kilograms of Marisota, 200 grams of oats, porridge oats that I've put in, 51.5 Cascade, 51.5 grams of Cascade at 60, and then the same at 20, and then the same at 5. Chilled down to 40 degrees. Well, it's actually my fridge is saying 33 because I've got the probe stuck on the bucket. 33. Temperature is at, I can't see it. Temperature is at 40 degrees, or once set for 40 degrees. Let's see what happens. Firstly, does the fridge get to 40 degrees? It's done 35 before and it's held it for a few days. Does it get to 40 degrees? Does my shed burn down in the middle of the night? Will I get kicked in the arse by the missus? I don't know, but everything so far seems to be working all right. We've got 21 litres. It's a beautiful hothouse in there, 21 litres, 20.5. You know, I'm going to call it 21. I'm really bad with maths, but there we are. And let's see if Tamas's Voss kviek yeast does the trick, and if I can get this beer to bottle and ready to drink by next Sunday. I'll follow it up, and oh man, I'm so excited. This is quite good, but I'm dubious. But those Norwegians know what they do. A great place to ski, and yeah, fingers crossed. Well, it's been 4.5 days, and I did say I was going to come back and do a review of this kviek, Voss kviek, that I've got and brewed in 4.5 days, and I've had a couple of them, and I can't believe that the beer is done from grain to glass in 4.5 days. It's just amazing. I'll pop it up, and you can have a look and see what you think. Yeah, forget the bottle. It's a ginger beer bottle, but it's definitely not the beer. Oh. There you are, fully carved. 4.5 days, mate. What the fuck is that talking about when you're talking to beers taking 4 weeks, 6 weeks, etc., etc.? Look at that. Let's just get it to a light. That's just bloody ridiculous. Knocked over a paint can. Even a paint can's stunned at how short it's taken. Yeah, so there we are. It's just juice in a. It's just juice. It's just ridiculous. It's just got some great texture, and I hate the word. And you know the word I'm talking about. That mouthfeel nonsense. Great texture. Juicy. Just. You know, maybe it could even have gone, I could have stretched to it being done instead of 3 days, 2 days in, is it 2 days? I bottled it on Monday, so Saturday, Sunday. It could have gone 3 days in the fermenter, and I'm sure it would have just cleared it up, you know, really well. But, I mean, it's a great beer, and it's just a force to be reckoned with. I think it's just so, if the yeast can produce such amazing, you know, an amazing beer in 4.5 days, man, I'll just have so many more boxes in this garage full of beer. It's great. It's a great opportunity to try something new, and if you've got the space for a fermentation fridge, and you can whack it up to 40 degrees and get hold of some Voss, and go ahead and just play around. As I said, this is a 6 kilos of Marisota, 200 grams, I think it's 200 grams of oatmeal, and then around 150 grams of Cascade at 60, 20 and 5. Just it's brilliant. It's gonna fade. It's not gonna last for long, so maybe I've got a month on this, but I've got 60 bottles to drink, so hey, cheers there fellas.